So hey everyone, recently I just crossed 2,000 subscribers. I made a video thanking everyone, and again, thank you to everyone. In there I said, submit some questions to there and I'll do a Q&A. So that is what this is, a whole bunch of questions, and I'm just gonna answer them. I gotta get rid of my gum, sorry, that was gross. From Jason C, what kind of round tables are better to get, metal edge or rubber? I've always had rubber and haven't had a problem with it. I basically have rubber because when I bought them, I was just starting out and rubber was a little cheaper. So I bought rubber and I've never had a problem. With 8-foot banquet tables though, they get banged around a lot, banged against the end of the truck when you're trying to put it in or whatever. I would go metal with 8-foot banquet tables. The corners get bashed on the ground or whatever. The round ones, they just roll across the ground. Nothing too crazy happens. So I'm fine with rubber for round, but I prefer metal for the banquet ones. From Jerome Carter, what's your idea on misting fans for the summertime? I personally have not gotten any of them. Some people do ask for them. I think it's a cool idea. Depends on the kind you get. My friend out in Rochester got Portacool and Way Cool or something. And they're these big giant units, not various sizes. But he said like they don't work that well. They're kind of loud. But if you got a smaller tent and a smaller misting fan, then I think that should work pretty well. I've just never gotten into them, never done them. We just do fans, regular old fans. But it's worth me taking a look at. I'm not opposed to it. Okay, we got from Paul Knobloch. What do you do when you pick up chairs if they are trashed? Food, dirt, mud, etc. God knows what else. Blacklist. Left out in the rain under a roof line where water pours on them. Pain in the butt to clean dollar chairs and try to make them last. Yeah, you're right. It sucks. It all kind of depends. I mostly avoid this by saying to the people, like, please leave them inside. Please leave them under your garage, carport, something. Please keep these protected. And I usually explain to them, I say, hey, listen, we keep the chairs this cheap because the customers return them clean and because the customers put them back on the dollies, which allows us to pick them up quick. And if you didn't do that and you left them dirty, then we have to charge everyone appropriately and everyone's gonna have to pay more for chairs. So you're paying $1 a chair, could you please make sure that they're put back the way that we gave them to you? And most of the time, that's how it happens. Yeah, sometimes there's just jerks that don't care. And it depends on the situation. There have been times where I asked the people to put them back on their stack and we come and there's just a giant pile of chairs. Yeah, we pick them up and we kind of clean them as we go. And then sometimes I have charged them. Most of the time, I'm like, it's not even worth it. It's not even worth getting into a fight charging these people. We just make a note and don't rent to them again. I got this one lady who's got this big event venue, and every weekend she could be renting white padded chairs for me for the ceremony outside. But the ceremony outside is under like this willow tree, and I told her, I'm like, as soon as you're done with the ceremony, you have to pick them up, put the covers back on them, and get them in your garage. And she didn't, so I blacklisted her and told her we're not renting to you anymore. Then she kind of begged and whatever, and now she kind of toes the line. But if she does it again, it's just gonna be like, lady, I told you, these chairs are all clean. Stop leaving them under the tree. Yeah, use them for the ceremony under the tree, but clean them up immediately. Get them stacked and out of the way. Have a staff member do that. You can't leave them out all weekend under this tree. So it depends on, feel the customer out. Are you going to get in a fight with them about $60 to $100, or are you just gonna let it slide and just don't deal with them again? I would prefer just to let it slide. Don't deal with it again. Sure, if I got 10,000 chairs out and they mess up every single one, they're getting charged. But if it's 50, 100, 200 chairs, yeah, clean them and then forget that person. Kelsey Ochoa, probably said that wrong. I'm considering adding bounce houses to my rental business since I got several requests in the warmer months. With the high insurance rates and the inclement weather, I am on the fence. What are your thoughts on the, and then I didn't print the rest. Okay. Right now, I think bounce houses are amazing. Every bounce house person I talk to has said they're getting bounce houses out kind of consistently, because even if it's not for a party of 30 kids, mother and father still want to entertain their kid or maybe their nieces and nephews, and they'll get a bounce house. So every bounce house person that I know that I talk to is making like 2,000 a weekend, which isn't that crazy, or more. But bounce houses are definitely good. The insurance on a bounce house sucks. You can't own just one bounce house and get insurance on it. You're not going to make enough money to pay for the insurance. So you got to have like a bunch of bounce houses. Like, I don't know the exact number, but my friend had 10, and that's where he said it actually made financial sense. But then you're doing 10 bounce houses a day. So it's a lot of work. But yeah, you can't just have 1 or 2 bounce houses because your insurance is going to cost more than the amount you're bringing in. So if you're going to get into bounce houses, you either got to get into it or not. You can't like dip your toes in. When you do backyard parties, what do you do when staking the tents? How do you know there is nothing underground like a pipe or something? And this comes from Hamilton's Sotelo. Because most people know where their septic tank is, and it's in the contract. We say you got to have your septic tank marked out. And there's only 2 towns in like my whole area that have underground power, electric, and gas is underground everywhere. But gas comes from the road to the front house. We're always in the backyard doing tents. But so everyone knows where their septic tank is because they get it pumped every once in a while. And then for those 2 towns where everything is underground, we have to call New York Dig Safe, and they come and spray paint. There has been one instance where the guy said it was okay to put a stake in, put a tent up in a spot. We put it up and went through something with his pool or sprinkler. I wasn't actually on the job, and made a hole. The ironic thing about it was there's a big giant blue barn next door that's been turned into a plumbing supply store. And so we were in that parking lot backed up to his backyard anyways. And he's like, whatever. He just walked over, got a new pipe, dug the hole and fixed it right then. He told us to put it there. That's really the only time that anything bad has happened. Other than that, everyone kind of knows where their things are in my area. It's rural. If you live in a city and stuff, yeah, you're going to have to have people spray paint things. You're going to have to call Dig Safe or whatever your state's equivalent is called. It can get costly and take up a lot of time. But if you're rural, like, pretty much everyone knows where their things are. Ryan Russell. This is a long one, so I'm going to paraphrase it. I started my rental company back in 2003 with 120 by 30 tent and kept renting it until I got to 7 of them and 2 20 by 20s, all paid up front. Now they got tables and chairs, Palmer Snyder, of course. Everything's in their garage and 3 enclosed trailers. They're out of room. They feel a warehouse is in the near future and can probably move houses so I can do it on my own land, or at least have more room for the trailers. But I'm torn between that or buying some bigger tents. Which course of action would you take with the way the market is looking over the next year? And do you finance your product or buy it outright, and why? I've heard good arguments for both sides. So the forecast for the coming year is, in my area, a lot of smaller backup weddings. Like, they may have had a wedding booked for 200 people at a banquet hall, and the banquet hall canceled on them. So they're going to do it for 50 people in their backyard. So it's not going to be as many 40 by 80s, 40 by 100s. It's going to be a whole lot more 20 by 40, 30 by 40s. So if I were you, I would, if you got the money, buy some 20 by 40s and 30 by 40s. I won't go into the 40 wides yet. For the following year, there's going to be so many weddings that were canceled this year that are rescheduling for next year, along with all the normal weddings that would have been taken on next year. There's going to be a demand for event venues and tents and things. There's not going to be enough event venues to handle everyone. So a lot of people are going to go to tents. So this year I would say 20 by 40 and 30 by 40. Next year I would, if you have the money, get into the 40 by 80, 40 by 100. I'd say just get another trailer too for now. Don't invest in a big warehouse. Just get one more trailer and continue to do it the hard way for a little bit until you're doing amazing and have no choice but to get a warehouse. And I forgot to answer the other question. So finance versus just buy outright. In the beginning, I financed my 40 by 80 dance floor, chairs, sides, and everything. There was no way. I didn't have that much money. I was young. I didn't have that much money. But that's the only thing I ever financed. After that, everything has been bought as I go. And most rental companies can actually do that unless you're buying like a huge double-decker tent or a giant structure that's hundreds of thousands of dollars. But most things are less than $20,000. And a lot of times you can have that. What I do do is use a cashback credit card. So I will buy something with a cashback credit card because if I'm spending 20 grand, I want that 1.5 or 2.5, whatever your card is, back. Then immediately pay it off before the end of the month, and you've got money, like free money. The only thing is you have to have paid it off before the end of the month, because then you're going to get hit with interest, and then it just erases your cash back. I used to be able to do that, but right now I got some balances on my credit cards, and I've erased basically all the cash back I've made. But it was still good for that period of time, and then the credit cards are good right now to be able to use. But yeah, I don't really have an opinion either way. If you don't have the money and you're pretty confident you can pay back a loan, go ahead. I just make enough money currently where I can just buy as I go. Monique Hopkins, how do you find the best flatware vendors? Are there separate licensing permits to rent dishes and flatware? So I just called a whole bunch of these flatware companies and got samples in. They'll send you one of a fork, a knife, a spoon, blah, blah, blah. Whatever you want, they'll usually send it to you for free. And you can take a look at it. And basically I compared the quality to the price and picked my company. I picked RSS distributors. I also took into account that they're huge, and if I called for a certain item, they're most likely gonna have it. Also, I asked, how long has this item been in existence? Is it just brand new this year and you may get rid of it next year? So I picked a line that had a long history. I picked one that is very popular and they have a lot. I picked one that's sturdy and a decent price. So I went with RSS distributors after I got free samples from a whole bunch of people. Now on the permit side or whatever, that depends. That's not something I can entirely answer. In New York State, no. I'm sure if someone came in, they would be like, I don't know. Someone could just come in? But if they did, we're fine. We have a commercial dishwasher. It's not a high temp one. So we have the sanitizing stuff. We have everything you need for it. We've paid, a dishwasher company to come set it up or whatever. So we have everything we need for it. Everything's in bags. And I think we're supposed to have everything off six inches from the ground. Not everything is, but it's all in bags. But I think we might have to do that. But I don't think anyone's gonna come in and check on us. So yeah, it's not, we keep the things clean anyways, just so that we have good business. But if you're in another state, you may want to check with someone, because there might actually be licensing or permits. But I know in New York State, none of the rental companies need a license or permit to clean dishes. We're not cooking food, we're just cleaning dishes. So I would check with someone on that. I have a chair, cover, and tablecloth rental business from home that I am earning good money from. Do you think it would be a good YouTube channel to start? I wonder if others would be interested in seeing how I run a home-based rental business that isn't tense. What do you think? Also in the Chicago area. Yeah. I made a video before, like in the very beginning. It's probably a very boring video about how you can start a linen business with no money. You can start a linen business with no money. You just get your order in, get like a 50% deposit, then order the linens from the linen rental company. And then you make a few $100s on that order, and then you have money for the next order, and so on and so on and so on. And you can make a few $100s on each order and just be making a whole bunch of money without ever owning linens, without ever cleaning linens, and without ever investing your own money. But yeah, I think it would be a good YouTube channel, just talking about the linens and whatever. There's the guy up in Canada, Lee, talks about bartending and photo booths and rentals from his house. So yeah, anyone, anywhere can do a linen business. If you live in a large metro area, you can make a whole ton of money just doing linens, never investing a single dime into it, never owning anything or cleaning anything. What do you think about renting staging furniture for property rentals? I know it's a big market in some areas. It would not be a big market in my area. You got to be in a place where the housing market is high, and having a house look a certain way is very important to clients. So if you're in one of those areas, yeah, that'd be cool. You buy the thing once, and it's not like it's getting used. People aren't sitting on it. There's no animals destroying it or whatever. It just comes in for a week and leaves a week later. Like, yeah, it's a no-brainer. If you live in one of those areas, do it. Then from John S. He says, congratulations and everything. I encouraged him to start a toilet trailer rental business. Good. That's awesome. And his main question is how the Airbnb is going lately. I mentioned it a while ago, but he hasn't heard about it in a while because there's actually been nothing to hear about for a while. Basically, all this hit and they needed a little bit more information from me, and I was just holding off on getting it to him. I was saying my CPA couldn't get it done. So I was holding off so that hopefully by the time we closed, the economy got kind of back to normal and we could start renting it out, because the previous owner had tons of cancellations. So I didn't want to get it back in the beginning of May and then be like, wow, now we have to pay the mortgage with no income coming in. So we're supposed to close in the next few days, June 3rd or June 4th. And someone has rented it from us from June 3rd through June 16th for like $6,000. And then the next 2 weeks are filled up too. So my plan worked. We're gonna get it, and the first day we have it, we're making $10,000 in June on the Airbnb. It's kind of crazy because the previous owner took the TV and a few other things. So like June 3rd, we close in the morning. Then we have to rush there, put the TV in, get the Wi-Fi, get everything good, and then welcome the guests at 3 o'clock. So it's a little crazy, but yeah, in the next few days, I'll be making a few videos about the Airbnb and let you know more about that. But those are all the questions. Everyone, thank you for watching. Everyone, thanks for 2,000 subscribers. I know we're actually above that now. I think it's close to like 2,070 or something. But yeah, thank you for everyone who watches. And this isn't just me talking to you guys. Like, I've learned a whole bunch of stuff from you guys and gotten tips and advice from everyone out there. So thank you, everyone, and have a good day.